Hello guys, from another channel. Today we're going to review Ant-Man the Wasp Quantamania. I got to go see it yesterday. I'm late to the party because I was in Israel for a while, and now I'm going to review it. So let's get started, but go check out Marvel playlist, Marvel reaction, DC channel, everything, and let's get started. Starting off what this movie's about, this movie kicks off with you have post-Ant-Man Blip, who's kind of given this sort of monologue of what his life is like, and it's pretty well, and then you mix it with his daughter who is sort of, I don't want to say messed up, it has these moral views involving help whoever, whenever, and then whenever you can, I guess, and then eventually later that eventually leads to her making the sort of thing, or that connects to the quantum realm, but during the blip, and then the thing malfunctions, and then they get sucked into the quantum realm, and then kind of have to and then have sort of an adventure through it, and then that leads to the meeting with Kang, who's sort of this guy that's trying to conquer he is trying to conquer the entire quantum realm, and he wants to get out. So, and then they have to stop him pretty much and they also have to get out of the quantum realm. Now we have the good, and starting off the good, I think the whole world of the quantum realm is actually really cool. It is a bit too CGI like, but it makes sense in this case compared to like Shang-Chi, where they could have just relied on the practical effects and the fight choreography. But here, fair enough, it makes sense. And I mean, the CGI itself is fine. I don't have any issues with it, but you could tell us there when all they're doing these big CGI battles, you could tell, okay. Yeah, it's hard to imagine, but I don't know. We're at a day and age where we're getting so many things that are literally just CGI. We might as well be making just CGI movies with voice actors at this point, which animated movies, I guess that's what that is. But, you know, it's nice. I like seeing movies that don't have as much these days. I don't know, might just be me. But overall, there's that. Also, you have the character of Kang. He's fantastic. Jonathan Majors a great job. I love what they did with him, giving him this motivation of he wants to destroy the multiverse. You don't really know why yet, but you still kind of, I guess, I don't want to say, it's kind of like Thanos, where like you're not rooting for this character, but you can sort of understand some stuff, I guess. Even though we don't have a backstory yet for him, but I think the actor just does a great job, and you know his motivation, you know what he's trying to do. You don't exactly know why, but I'm interested to see why. And I think it's just a character that you're just interested in, and that's what I like. Also, you have I think the cast is great as always. You have Michelle Pfeiffer, who's given a bit of an elevator role in this one, which is nice. Paul Rudd's great. Evangeline Lilly, whoever plays Cass, is good. Even though he's a bit of a sidelined role, but I think Michael Douglas' Hank Pym is always great. So overall, I do quite like the cast here. It's good as always. And even though we didn't get Michael Pena, which that was kind of frustrating, but I think overall it still works just fine. And I think some of the action sequences are cool. Like the whole bit, the probability thing was cool, and the orb, that was pretty cool. And then I also quite like the final battle with the big battle, even though you can tell it's all CGI, but I think it's still pretty fun. Now we have the bad, and the humor in this one completely falls flat. Some jokes, like with MODOK at the end, the one with the character with holes, are kind of funny, but then when you pair that with a serious Kang, and probably one of the more serious villains we've gotten in the MCU, it just doesn't work. And the problem is they're not learning from their mistakes, and that's really what's frustrating. Like, it's not the first time we've had this issue. They had this in Black Widow. They had this in Thor: Love and Thunder, especially. They had this in Shang-Chi. But they just keep doing this, and it's just like keeps cutting the tension. It's just, I guess Multiverse didn't really have that issue. It's mainly this and Love and Thunder, but it suffers from this issue, and it's like, come on, just rely on the drama itself and focus on that. I'd be fine if we got a serious Ant-Man movie. I feel like they're just relying too many of these expectations of them, but if they just make a good movie with a good story, it works. And then another thing that I hated. At first, I was like, okay, this is kind of funny, but it's the MODOK character. I don't mind the excuse of bringing Darren Cross back, but when I look in these shots it's a mix of, he makes too many just jokes at the wrong time, and MODOK's supposed to be this kind of goofy character, and then when you put him behind this serious Kang, it just doesn't work. And I think some of the jokes where he's like, I don't want to die, dick, and thanks, I'm my own Avenger, and Scott's like, I don't know, some of those are funny, but it just undercuts any of the tension that's in that scene, so it just makes it frustrating. And it makes sense, the whole excuse why he's still alive, but just why? Why did you have to do this? You could have just taken this character out or made him some sort of interesting robot. You didn't have to make him this goofy. I guess I don't know. You could have done something interesting, but you didn't have to do this. That I hated. And then I wish they went into some more dynamics with the family, like the first two Ant-Mans did. Like you had this whole thing with Scott and Cassie, where like Cassie's sort of not exactly being rebellious, but she's kind of doing her own thing, while Scott's sort of just signing autographs and saying he saved the universe and make which true. And they could have done some interesting stuff with that and had hope in there. I wish. And another problem is I feel like this movie just wasn't long enough for them to do that. It was only 2 hours and 5 minutes, which I'm not someone that really complains about short or long length. I mean, I complain about Wakanda Forever being too long. But the thing is that whereas a movie like, I would say, the first two Ant-Mans or Multiverse of Madness or the first Thor, they're a bit shorter. They're not doing all this world building that needs a lot of time. Like done the world building like the middle hour of the movie. They could have stretched out maybe like 20 minutes to focus on some of the drama, because we pretty much get into the story fast. It's just like, okay, it's just like a very quick moving ride, I guess. And it's fun enough. Like, I think the story itself is perfectly fine, but they could have just done so much more with it, and I don't think I think it needed to be longer. Even though we're in a day and age where comic book movies are almost 3 hours these days, and it's kind of nice to get a shorter one, this one I think just needed to be a little longer. And I don't think most people think about that, but if it was longer, they could have done something more with it. And another big problem is that I feel like it was just a tease to see what's to come with Kang, because it doesn't really work, because the problem is it doesn't really work as an Ant-Man movie, because you don't really get a lot of the antics of the other Ant-Man movies, where they're heist movies and fun adventures, and this one's a bit more serious, but it still has a bunch of these stupid jokes. And you're not really given much of an arc for Scott Lang in this one. It's just sort of like, I wish it was more Ant-Man focused than focused on our adventure in the quantum realm. And that's why it's frustrating. And Hank is completely sidelined. It's more about the Kang and what's to come, more so than our character of Scott. So it makes a very odd conclusion, I guess, to the trilogy. And I know we're going to get more of this character. I'm glad they didn't kill him off or anything, so we could have had some sort of final thing. But just the way everything plays out, it's just frustrating. They could have done so much more. It also just feels like they're packing so much, and it's just a lot of it's just exposition dumps in general. But in the end, I don't know. I feel like when I came out of the theaters, I was like, okay, this is alright. The more I think about it, I think the less and less I like it, because there's just so many frustrating things. Because on the one hand, I think they assured me that we're going to get a bunch of interesting stuff. Kang will be good. So it did fix a bunch of my issues at the end of Phase 4, where now we're going to get an objective. Now we're seeing this is the villain, and now we're seeing what will happen next. And we're sort of predicting and sort of imagining. But then also, it still affirms some of my issues, like they're not learning from their mistakes with the humor. They are sort of underlying all the drama, which I guess goes with the humor. They are going to rely on CGI, but fine, I'll just ignore that one. But it's still like, I'm still not quite there yet. I don't know, and I don't think Guardians is going to do anything, because that's going to be the final part for that trilogy. So I just think we're going to have to wait till the Marvels to see if anything's going to be good again. So I don't know, I'm starting to lose my faith in Marvel. I don't think it's quite done yet, but it's starting to be on the verge. And I'm kind of starting to get frustrated. So, yeah. For this movie's final score, I'm going to give it a let's give it like a 6.6 out of 10. I definitely didn't dislike it, because I still had a fun ride, a fun time on the adventure. The adventure's fun, but I think of all of the Ant-Man movies, this one's probably the weakest. I don't know, this or Ant-Man and the Wasp. I'm not really a big fan of Ant-Man and the Wasp, so like, I think this one might be better, or this one might be worse, I don't know. So, I definitely didn't dislike it. There are definitely some fun sequences, but there are just a lot of stuff in there that I just wish could have been done better. Like, I think our characters could have been given more of a character arc thing. I wish Kang was just designed more of this looming threat than as this front and center character, because it feels like this is more Kang's movie than like Scott's. So, I don't know, it's frustrating. But I definitely did have a good time with it. So let me know what you thought about this one in the comments below. Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Are you excited for more? I'm interested. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment down below. Go see us next time. Adios.